Hi guys, this is Milena, and today I'm going to record a process that I've been promising you for a while now. And it has to do with how we can let go of the pain or the trauma that we have stored within our mind, within our brain, within our physical body from painful experiences of the past. Now, usually we talk about childhood trauma and things that happened when we were young, but there are painful things that we experience even as adults. So anything that has happened in the past, which means prior to this very moment, can be sort of transmuted with this type of exercise. I learned it from a couple of different teachers, and one of them is Victoria Moore, and she calls that process frozen children. Why do we want to do that? Because our subconscious mind stores all of our memories and all of our experiences. Every single thing that has happened, that we've experienced, what people have said, what we have done. Now, we don't necessarily have conscious access to all of this information, but our bodies know, and our subconscious mind stores all of that information. Why? Because its main purpose is to protect us. And whenever something happens that kind of is similar to this situation, triggers that memory, the mind kicks in, the subconscious mind kicks in, and in order to protect us, it starts reacting in an attempt to make sure that we don't experience the same emotion. Again, most of the time, this happens without our conscious awareness. And we are in the moment, we're reacting to whatever trigger happened, and we don't know that we're not actually responding to the trigger in the present moment, but we are responding more to the painful memory of the past. Most of the time, we may have even deleted it from our conscious mind and not quite remember what happened, but our subconscious mind remembers the pain from it, wants to make sure that we don't experience it again, and we experience the present reaction. What happens is this kind of backfires on us because we keep recreating the situation and the feeling in our present mind, in our present situation. And that's something that it works like self-fulfilling prophecy all the time. We make the situation much bigger than what it is. We project all of our past pain and trauma onto it, and basically we recreate the exact same feeling. And this is why it's very beneficial to go on a little bit of an exploration sometimes, to look and heal those situations and those past painful experiences so that we don't have to keep bringing them with us to the present moment and recreating similar situations. Now, how do we discover that something in our present moment is being affected by a past experience? Well, one of the first things that we can do is when you're triggered, and I use that word triggered all the time, but what does it mean? It means you have a strong negative reaction. Maybe you feel hurt, disappointed, accused, annoyed, really angry. It doesn't matter, any emotion like that. You can pause for a moment and you can say, how am I feeling right now? Okay, I'm feeling criticized. I'm feeling like I'm being told I'm not good enough, for example. Okay, so the next question that you're going to ask yourself is, when was the last time I felt like that? And just wait for a moment and allow the answer to come, because the automatic answer that prevents you from looking into stuff like that is, I don't know. Sit with the I don't know and just allow the answer to come. When was the last time that I felt that way? And then the next question that you can ask yourself is, when was the first time ever that I felt that way? And again, allow yourself the time and the space to come up with the answer. I can't tell you how many times when I've done this exercise with somebody else, first they tell me that they don't know. And I always say, just, it's okay. Take the time. And very often they're convinced that they have no memory and they don't know when the first time was when they felt like that. And then the answer comes. And they will picture a situation, usually as a child, when something happened and they felt that way. Now, once we get to that situation, and it might not be as a child, it might be, later on in life, but very often it is something that happened in childhood. What we can do is we can close our eyes and go through that process. And if you'd like, you can do that now. Let's say you've discovered something and you would like to do that process. And you can take a deep breath, a nice long deep breath, and exhale it out. And do that a couple of more times. A nice long deep breath. Close your eyes. Be somewhere where nobody's going to disturb you. And exhale it out. And one more time, take a nice long deep breath. And exhale it out. Now I'm going to walk you through the exercise fairly quickly because it's easy to remember what to do so that once you listen to it, you can do it on your own. And let's say you discovered something that happened when you were 7 years old. So you are going to imagine the 7-year-old you. And you're going to imagine walking down a corridor that has doors, many doors on each side. And these are all of your childhood memories and experiences. And you're going to keep walking down that corridor until intuitively you get to a door where the 7-year-old you that experienced the thing that you just remembered is. And you're going to open the door and look at the 7-year-old you. What does the 7-year-old you look like? What's in the room? What are they surrounded by? What are they doing? Are they playing? Sitting? Is there a window in the room? Are they looking through it? Allow yourself the time to simply observe everything that you can see and sense. How are they feeling? Are they experiencing the same emotion that you had just remembered? Most probably. So then approach the child, approach the 7-year-old you and say, I'm sorry that I was missing. I'm here now. Would you like to tell me how you feel? And then if the child wants to talk to you, then they can tell you how they feel. If they don't want to tell you how they feel, they don't need to talk. You can say, what can I do? What do you need to make things better right now? What can I do to make things better right now? And very often, more often than not, what the child wants is to simply for you to hold them in your arms so that they can cry or simply sit in the warmth and love of your hug. So, whatever the child is asking you to do it. And if they're asking you to hold them in your arms so that they can express everything that they felt, hold them for as long as you need, or as long as the child needs, until it feels complete. Until you feel like they have expressed all of the emotions they have and they're now feeling better. And then look into the child's eyes and saying, I'm always here for you. You're never alone. And if you need me, you can just call me and I'll always be here. Now ask the child what they would like to do. Ask them if they would like to take your hand and maybe come with you. If they would like to go play, maybe they would like to go play with you. Until you see a smile in the child's face. And basically imagine yourself letting the child play or going to play with them quickly. Remind them again that you will always be here for them. That you're not going anywhere and you're not going to leave them. Give them a little kiss and a hug again. And then you can focus on your breath and your physical body again and come out of the process. It is very simple and very easy. But what it does is it does actually heal that experience because we go to the version that we were at that age. Now, from our adult perspective, from the standpoint that we are now, the thing that happened might seem insignificant or small. But that doesn't matter because if we did experience it as something powerful or painful and significant when we were children, that power of emotion, that intensity of emotion that we experienced then is something that we will experience now as well when a trigger pushes it. Now, once we've done this process, we'll recognize that we're no longer reacting from that standpoint, and we will stop continuing recreating similar or same situations in our lives. I had some what I experienced, this traumatic experience when I was a child from my brother, who would tell me, oh, you're not good enough and you'll never be as good as this, at that. And guess what? When somebody criticizes me, I go into a reaction mode because that memory is being activated, and who I'm actually reacting to was my brother and not the person who had pushed the button. But I experienced it as that. I experienced it as them telling me I wasn't good enough, or that I was never going to be good enough at something and all of that. And the intensity of that memory that I had would be something that transfer onto the present moment. Of course, without my conscious knowledge of it. So look at the situations that kind of create unpleasant experiences in your life. It could be at work, it could be anywhere. And ask yourself these 3 questions. How am I feeling? When was the last time I felt like that? And when was the very first time I felt like that? Give yourself the time to allow the answers to these questions to come, because they're there. They are in your subconscious mind, and it just takes some time for them to float back into your conscious memory so that you can remember why they're there. Now, it's really important not to get hooked on this process and process every day and start thinking like, I have so much childhood trauma and I'm broken and I have all of these things. Really, this is something for the extreme cases, and yes, it does bring awareness and heal, but don't get hooked onto victimhood and saying, oh, I'm like this because of everything that has happened to me and all of those things. This is just a tool that can process and rewire our brain, our memories, and the experiences and all of that, so we don't continue recreating it into the present moment. This is not an exercise that we use as an excuse to feel like a victim and what others have done to us and what we have experienced. Nobody really is a victim, but that doesn't mean that we cannot clear and rewire our brain and the memories so that it's easier for us to drop our negative stories and start creating from a clean slate perspective, where it's easier to build on positive things and positive experiences. And if you're not sure how to apply this process in your own life, or you feel like you don't know how to discover that childhood experience, book a session at askmilena.com. Subscribe to my newsletter for some free tools, personal updates that I don't share anywhere else, so that you're the first one to get the videos as well, and get the ebook 7 Life Hacks to empower your daily life. If you have not subscribed to the channel, please do so below and click on the bell so that you get notified of all new videos, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.